Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing a St. Patrick's Day Dollar Tree DIY, and this is going to be a really fun project, and this is a series that I'm going to be doing. I already have 2 of them listed, or not listed, but uploaded. So every single season and holiday, I'm going to be doing a Dollar Tree DIY where I show you how to make something amazing for that holiday using supplies from the Dollar Tree. Now, some things I use are not from the Dollar Tree, a couple of things, but most of it is from the Dollar Tree, or you can find it for really cheap. So tonight's design, or the holiday, is St. Patrick's Day, and we're going to be using this hat. Now, this doesn't come on it already. I already got a little bit of prep work, but this is like a little hat that you can wear, get at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to turn it into an arrangement on the top of the hat. So what I did was I took a piece of the Dollar Tree floral foam. You get 4 pieces for $1. I used 1. I put a bunch of hot glue and I stuck it on. And then I took underneath here, as you guys see, there's like 4 little glue dots. I took these U-pins that I got from, I don't know where I got them from, but I shoved them through this little thing. That way it holds in there. And then I put glue around the outer layer of this, okay? Then, I'm gonna show you guys the supplies I have for this. So I got a pack of these little little cauldrons. And I also got 2 packs of these little tokens, or like coins, I guess. And I made myself a little thing with the tokens. So all I did was I just put some floral foam down in the center. So and then I put some moss, and then I took little barbecue skewers and I cut them down and I glued them in to make them different heights. And then I just made a little thing that's gonna go in there. I've got some shamrocks. I've got this, which we're gonna probably pick some of those gold things out of. I've got a couple of this filler bush. This comes from Joann's, but you can also get some filler bush from the Dollar Tree. That would work, and then some greenery. So we are gonna get started, and we might add a bow. I'm not 100% sure yet. I just need to see how this is gonna work. So what I want to do is I want to pull you guys down, and basically I'm leaving the hat just like it is. You could turn it inside out and do a floral arrangement out of it, but I think it would just be really fun just doing it like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take some of this moss, and I'm gonna set it on top of here, and I'm gonna floral pin this in, okay? Now this green moss you can find at the Dollar Tree in the floral section, or like the craft section over by like the wreath frames and all the things. And you could hot glue this on if you don't have floral pins. I just use floral pins because it's really easy to use. Okay, so I don't actually, now that I'm thinking about it, y'all, I don't actually want moss in that corner, because I actually, no, we're not gonna put moss on here yet, because you know what I wanna do is I want to add our little, cathedral, or like, not cathedral, but it's, y'all know what I'm talking about. My little pot of gold, basically. And y'all, I use these a lot for Halloween as well. So I'm gonna take something. Actually, no, I'm just gonna hot glue this right on. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna take some hot glue, go all around this. And this is gonna be for personal use, so if you're gonna sell something like this, you will probably might want to secure it down a little bit more. But what I'm gonna do is I want this to kind of just go right up on top there. And the glue's gonna drip down. No worries, because we're gonna put moss over that, okay? So let that just sit there and dry. And now, as that dries, y'all, we're gonna add moss, okay? So we're gonna add moss around that. Just because I don't want that moss, you don't really need to have that moss underneath that thing, just because that's really not gonna do anything. So be careful with this, it's still drying, so I'm gonna like keep my hand on it as I design on here. So this is a really neat project. So we did a Valentine's Day one, which was a little heart wreath, which actually, it's gotta get shipped out today. That actually sold. That's one of the only DIYs that I was gonna sell. But I also did an Easter swag using the Dollar Tree iridescent Christmas trees. So that video's on here, and then we have this one. And now I'm gonna come up with something for patriotic or 4th of July, and think of maybe some kind of a spring design. Might make like a spring floral something. It's really easy to do something with florals a lot. But y'all, one thing that I'm gonna tell you that and this moss, y'all, gets everywhere, so I will brush it off at the end probably, because it's gonna be really hard to brush it off right now. Okay, so what I'm gonna tell you is that a lot of the things that you see at the Dollar Tree, y'all, are in the craft section. You don't know, yeah, obviously you use the stuff in the craft section, but you're gonna find things that you're gonna be able to use that's not in the craft section for crafts. So a lot of the things from the Dollar Tree, y'all, that I use in a lot of my crafts are not even in the craft section or aren't even meant for crafts. But when you're a crafter, y'all, you gotta kind of come up with your own, and you gotta kind of have your own imagination and just kind of look at it and be like, well, what could I use that in? So for instance, I say this a lot, but it's one thing that I really like. It's like kind of me basically talking about something that I found at the Dollar Tree that is like, it's like a good example basically. So I was walking down like the personal care, y'all know, they've got toothpaste and all the things, y'all. Well, they had like cotton swabs and all the things for like personal care. And I came across this little, I don't have any more left, but they were little orange earplugs, okay? Earplugs, you're probably thinking, where is this story going? I looked at those earplugs and I knew what they were because I've seen them before, and I've seen people use them before. Well, as like earplugs, and it actually said earplugs on it too, so that's how I knew it was earplugs. But as soon as I saw it, my crafty mind, first thing I thought of was like carrot noses. Like, that looks like something I could put on a little snowman and use for a nose. So what did I do? I bought those and I used them as little carrot noses, and they were just so cool. So y'all, what we're doing right now is, the reason I'm putting this this moss on this hat is because it's covering up our mechanics, and our mechanic is something that you all use in your design that you don't really want showing, and obviously we don't want all this ugly moss showing, or not the ugly moss, the moss we want well, at the end of the design, you don't want to see a lot of the moss, but if you do see the moss, it's better than the foam, okay? And I like to put it on first, because once you get it on towards the end, it's really hard to put on because you got to weave around all your stuff, and it's just a pain, y'all. So I put it on now. I do this in all my floral arrangements. I always cover up my mechanics with moss. But if you do this, you can do whatever you want. Some people cover it up with greenery, but I think moss is a little bit more cheap than greenery, y'all. Okay, so we're almost done, and these floral pins work perfectly. You can get a big bag of them at a craft store for really inexpensive. So I use them a lot. Okay, so now I'm gonna just kind of shake it out, get all the, and then y'all, I'll dust this thing off at the end, just because y'all can already see it's gonna get real messy, but it kind of comes off really easily. Just pat it. Okay, I see a little spot right here that is not covered correctly. Okay, so now I'm gonna just scoot that out of the way. It almost fell, y'all. And I'm gonna clean my workstation up because this stuff is messy, so be prepared to have a mess. Okay. Sorry, y'all, my dad interrupted me. Okay, so I need to find the cap to this before I spill it, because that would not be fun. So like I said, this green moss came from the Dollar Tree. You can also get brown moss from the Dollar Tree as well. I just went with the green because it's more like, I use the brown more for like fall. You can also use the green. It depends on what I'm designing with. But yeah, okay, so there we go. There's our moss on there now. So that gives us a layer that covers up our ugliness of mechanics. So now what I want to do is I want to go in with some greenery. So now the greenery I'm going to use is not from the Dollar Tree. It's actually from Walmart, but it's actually cheaper than the Dollar Tree, okay? So this stuff comes from the Dollar Tree, or not comes from Walmart, and it's 97 cents. So it's actually cheaper than the Dollar Tree. So that's why I use it. But you can totally find greenery from the Dollar Tree. They didn't have any the day I went. Plus, I was like, well, this is still $1, so. But yeah, you can use more expensive greenery if you wanted to. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically, oh, I didn't turn my glue skillet on, y'all. Well, we don't really need my glue skillet tonight. We'll just do it the old-fashioned way and just do with the hot glue. So my glue skillet's usually on, and that's where I dip my florals in. But I didn't turn it on today, y'all. So we're gonna start off by doing a nice layer of greenery. Different heights. And we're gonna kind of work our way around this little thing. So now y'all, maybe you didn't want this little thing in the front. Maybe you wanted to add a bow. You could have totally add a bow. I'm gonna grab my steel pick machine and add a pick to this because I want a couple of these to be taller. Now, this is definitely not from the Dollar Tree, but you can totally get cheap wood picks to add onto your thing, but all it does is just adds a little pick to it. And I got my pick machine from, I got mine from Sam's Club, and it was like $135 or something. I think it was like $160 at the end. So this is gonna be it's gonna be a design where you see it from the front, because obviously, and remember, this is your front right here. I left all this on here like that. If you didn't like that, you could totally get rid of it. But I left it on. That way, it looks like a nice hat, and you can see the front. Okay, so I have another piece of greenery, but I don't think we need that greenery. And what we might do at the end with that last piece of greenery is might put it around the front here, just to cover up some of that moss. But we'll leave that for a second. But now what I want to do is I want to go in with a couple of this white bush, and I have a couple of them over here. These came from Joann's, but they're pretty inexpensive, but you could use any white flower. The Dollar Tree sells white flowers as well. If you want to use like a white flower. The reason why I'm doing a little bit of white is because I want to break up all the greens, because we're gonna have like green shamrocks and all the things. So you don't want it to be all green, because otherwise it's gonna be like, well, what am I looking at? It's all green. And you want your eye to still be able to see what you're designing with. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of this white. This is one of my favorite filler bushes. And this came from Joann's. Y'all, excuse the music of the stuff in the background. My parents are getting home from work. And I'm like, y'all are coming home now, and you're gonna make all this noise when I'm down here designing. Tell ya, friends. I tell ya. What's new? Okay, this one I don't need a steel pick machine. So 2 reasons why you can use a steel pick machine is to help get a little bit more height. And also, if your pick is not very sharp, you can always use this pick machine, and it kind of it helps you kind of be able to pick your items better. You know what I'm saying? So like, sometimes you get really weak florals, and you can't shove it into your foam or whatever you're working on. You can use a pick machine to put this little steel pick on. Now this one is a little too short, so the things didn't grasp, so I just take my pliers and I just pinched around it. But be careful, because the end, y'all, is really sharp and it'll flay your finger open, so you don't want to touch the end. And so we're just adding this white filler right around this little hat, just to break up all our greens. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take some of these little shamrocks. Now, this is why we added the white flower, because y'all, these are gonna blend in with the greenery if we don't have the white flowers. But what I'm also gonna do is gonna add a couple of these little tokens, or whatever you want to call them, coins, stuff we have over here. But you could do these ones too, but I found these ones. These are actually the foam scatter that you can find at like the Dollar Tree. Remember, this is a Dollar Tree DIY, so we're doing everything from the Dollar Tree, so it's a low budget item. Now this is something I would not put in my shop. This is something that you can use it in your own home. Just because my shop is more high-end, I don't really use a lot of the cheaper stuff. But this is for people that can't spend $1 million on their designs. Okay, and so I just added a pick to this one because these little wood skewers that these little picks are on are not really the sturdiest. They're a little flimsy, and I don't want them to break off on me. So I'm gonna scatter these around. These are gonna help bring our little St. Patrick's Day design all together, because obviously we need to have shamrocks and a St. Patrick's design. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a couple of, I need this to be a little bit longer, but I need it to be a little bit longer than what it actually was, not just adding a pick to it. So I'm gonna take a little piece of this, I need to find my floral tape first. I had floral tape down here yesterday. Where did it go? Guys, if I lose everything. Did it fall? Yep. Well, we might just go the opposite. I'm gonna find it, y'all. I know where it is, somewhere around here. Well, we'll just grab some zip ties. So I'm gonna just zip tie this together. And then I'm gonna find my floral tape. It's somewhere around here. I don't know where though. No, not that. Okay. Okay. I had floral tape down here yesterday. Yeah, my dad was down here. I said, I don't know where my floral tape is, and he holds up my tape gun for packing orders. No, sorry, that ain't gonna work. That's not no floral tape. Okay, friends, I'm sure it's gonna drive me nuts now that I don't know where my floral tape is, because I really should actually use that. So we're actually gonna just use actual tape then. If we, oh, here it is, yo, I found it. It was on the floor. I knew it was gonna be on the floor because I knew it was over there somewhere. So I'm taking some floral tape and just adding it to this design like so. And just going around our little thing, okay? So this is not gonna take very long, this design. It's really not, it doesn't take a lot of material either. And it's gonna be a pretty fun little design, okay? So, you can add as much or as little as you want to this. Pretty much all you would need if you wanted to is just a bush. You don't even have to, you could totally do this with like a Easter hat, put Easter eggs popping out of it. You could totally do this with like a, whatchamacallit, what am I saying? Like a Christmas hat and put like Christmas stuff coming out of it. Pretty much, y'all, the ideas are like it's pretty much anything. I want to pull you guys back into frame. So we added one there. I like to do things in threes, as y'all can, y'all can't tell. So we did one there, one here, and then I want a little bit, one more here. And remember, in a floral arrangement, friends, I always have stuff at different heights, okay? I like things at different heights. So we did one at this height, then we did one coming up the top, and then we did one peeking out here. So I'm thinking we only need 3 for this, but I also changed my mind throughout my designs, so we could possibly need more. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm actually going to take some wood skewers, okay, just wood skewers, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little wood skewer, and I'm going to stab it into this little thing there, a little token, okay? And now what I'm gonna do is, I like to take floral tape. It's not necessary. I like to do this, okay? Especially if this was something that I was gonna sell, I would totally do this, but I'm still gonna show you guys what you could do. Is I take it and I wrap my whole entire skewer in floral tape, okay? Because, y'all, I don't want this bamboo skewer just like it. You're gonna be able to, pretty much you're gonna be able to see it in your in the floral arrangement, and I don't want it to be pretty, I don't want it to be like seen. I kind of want the green to blend in, so that's why I added the skewer green. That way the green floral tape covers up the brownness, and it all will blend in with the greenery and the other stuff, okay? So I do this, and even if I'm not in almost all my designs, I do that, and it's like, it works, okay? It's a good idea, friends, so I would use it. If you never thought about doing that, I would use it, y'all. Use my ideas, steal them. I'm here to help you guys with ideas. So if you all have any questions on any specific part on what I'm doing or why I'm doing something or where I got something from, pretty much all the stuff I'm using came from the Dollar Tree, besides a couple of the items, but the greenery came from Walmart, which was less than $1. It was 97 cents, so that is not a big deal. And then the hat came from the Dollar Tree. The foam did. The white filler bush came from Joann's. So that would pretty much be your most expensive item on here. Now you can get them on sale. I know they're usually around they're about $3.99 full price, so $4 full price, which is not bad for filler bush in white and a good quality. But I would get them when they're like 50% off. Just check your Joann's, or you can even get white filler bush at Walmart, I'm pretty sure, I think, or I'm pretty sure you can get it at Dollar Tree too. So you can use stuff from the Dollar Tree. My Dollar Tree is really not the greatest when it comes to getting stuff in, so that's why sometimes I have to go out of my way to get stuff, or like think of a different way for y'all because of my Dollar Tree. My Dollar Tree is not the greatest when it comes to having stuff for people, and it's kind of annoying when why it doesn't have the stuff. And I'm doing this in threes too, so I have one here, and I'm gonna bring another one up here. I don't want them, I'm kind of spacing them out around my design, friends. That's one thing you're gonna see me do a lot, is I don't put everything in clumps. I like to space things out, and I like to do things in threes, especially for a smaller design, or odd numbers, really. Sometimes it's more than a 3, sometimes it's 5s. But I like to do stuff in odd numbers. That's just me personally, friends, and y'all know everyone's different, so don't just think, okay, I have to do mine. Every designer thinks different, designs different, creates different, does their stuff different. So don't think just because I'm doing it this way means you have to. Remember, y'all, I always tell this to my people on my Facebook Lives, which if you're not already following me on Facebook, go check me out at MB Crafts. I go live over there all the time, and we design beautiful things. So if you love watching me live, or you love my videos, you'll love to catch me over there, because I'm over there a lot more, and I post there regularly. So if you want to keep up to date, that's where I pretty much post a lot. But I'm getting better here on YouTube, and eventually I'm gonna start doing YouTube lives on here. So stay tuned for that, friends. But over on YouTube or on Facebook, I tell my people that if every single designer, friends, was the exact same, just imagine how boring this life would be. Or imagine how boring the world would be. If every single person designed the same, dressed the same, looked the same, did the same career, it would be weird living. Okay, so that's what we have so far, friends. And now what I want to go in with is, what was I going to go in with? I think we pretty much added everything into it that I needed to. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to add some of this greenery down the bottom. But just imagine, y'all, if you ever thought about that. So don't design the same. Imagine if you went into a store, or you went into on Etsy, and you looked up or if you looked up what is this, Shamrock or St. Patrick's Day floral arrangement, 50 Etsy shops popped up, 50 different creators. Okay, yeah, okay, I can see 50 different creator shops pop up. But then just think, every single person who had a shop, all those 50, every single floral arrangement that came up was the exact same as everyone else's. Just imagine how boring this life would. Just imagine that. You'd be like, okay, like, there ain't many options because everyone has the same stuff. So, don't design like me. Design like you. Y'all are the designer. Y'all do you, okay? Now, right now what I'm doing is I like to add little things coming out the fronts and move around my design. And so this is where I'm putting a steel pick on because there's no way I'd be able to get these in without a steel pick. So that's why I add a steel pick. It's right in here. Okay. Now what I want to do is I think I might add a little bit more, maybe a couple of these little filler bushes, a little bit up here in the front, a teeny bit. I'm gonna cut it down. Break your bushes down. That's one thing I always stress about. Just because you buy a bush of florals doesn't mean you can't break it down and cut them down. I always cut my stuff down. Sometimes y'all don't need it to be so big. Break it down. Don't be afraid to, friends. Cut it, shape it, break it apart. Sometimes you don't even need the full bush in your design. A lot of times, y'all, I'm creating a floral arrangement, and I don't use all, it might have 15 florals on that one stem. I might not even use all 15 of them. I might use only 5 of them. I might only use 3 of them. Y'all don't know. That one's actually too long, so I'm gonna throw that on the floor. I'm gonna grab a new pick. And I'm gonna add that right down here. So right now what I'm doing is I'm kind of just filling in little gaps and areas that I'm seeing that are just need a little bit something. So for instance, I'm adding a little bit of white here, just down here. Bend your stuff, y'all. A lot of the florals that you get are gonna be wired. At least a lot of mine are. Depending on where you get yours from, they might not be fully wired, but I would bend them, y'all. They're on wire for a reason. And in case maybe, like I said, I thought I said this before, but maybe you didn't like the idea of this little bucket of stuff there. Maybe you're more of a bow person and you want to add a bow to yours. A bow would look pretty on the side. I wanted something in my design to help cover up more space. That way I didn't have to use a lot of florals, and I had a little bit more of a focal point, okay? A lot of my designs I like to have focal points in. To kind of cover up the stuff. Okay, so I have a little bit of this little fun crazy stuff, and I think this is really fun. Now this is just me adding more stuff to it. So pretty much right now I would add a little bit something else down here, but then you would be done. So look at how beautiful this is, y'all. And you can set this on your table, your end table, however you want, like that, and it would be perfect. But I'm gonna go in with this little piece right here, just because I need it. I want to add a different texture to it. So now here's me adding to it. At any point in this design, y'all, you could stop. You could have stopped a long time ago. You can stop wherever you want to. Y'all know me, if you ever watch me design, I like to just keep on going. But y'all, there is a point where I tell myself I need to stop, or I know when to stop. Believe it or not, there is a point where you end up getting too much, or it gets to be too much, and as the designer, you need to know when that time comes in your design. Every design is different. Some designs it comes early, and some designs it might take a little bit for you to reach that point. But there is a time and there is a place for it to be like, okay, I need to stop with this design, okay? So you have to come up with that yourself, okay? And this is not actually standing up straight like I want it to. Be careful, y'all. Don't push too hard. You don't want your You don't want your foam breaking or your thing getting broken. I'm gonna add a nice big, and this is just for extra texture. Like I said, this is not necessary, like at all. Y'all know me, I just like to add more to my designs. Just to bring in, texture is really important in a design. Breaking up the different things that you can find, because there's so much fun stuff you can add in. Different textures, different colors, different shades, all the things, y'all. Oh, I wish I could have one like popping up here on the top. Oh, maybe I will. Oh, maybe not. Oh, that looks fine right there. And then this last little guy, I want right down here to cover up this little section. Okay, and he's gonna go right down here. And be careful if you're using a pick machine, if you have one, that you don't pick your finger. Okay, and y'all, just like that. Actually, I'm gonna add a little bit of this leaf. Use your leaves, use your little ends of your greens, y'all. Use all the things. Every little piece you can be used to bring in extra color, extra shape, extra, and maybe even, I think it might even want a little guy. Oh, maybe not. Or maybe even a little token like it fell out. Oh no, I don't like that. Okay. I'm gonna turn this around for y'all. So this is what I added. The extra texture was just this little, and I used it down here because it was real full to cover up the spots that I had a little bit of more moss on the back. Now, back here you're not gonna really see, but you can see right here where we covered up the moss, and we gotta cover that up a little bit more. But now I'd go through and I'd kind of get all my mossy stuff off. But yeah, this was a super easy design, y'all. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys are liking these Dollar Tree DIYs. I know some people like can't always afford the $150 design or can't afford to make stuff using real high-end supplies. So Dollar Tree is your best friend if you are that type of person. And I hope I'm the person that can inspire you. Just because even though you may know that you can get stuff from the Dollar Tree, once you get in there, you're like, okay, well, what am I doing? And y'all, I basically saw this hat and I kind of just had a plan in mind when I first started it. And I kind of just started to pick things out that I knew I wanted. I knew I didn't want to just add picks in there, y'all, because you're going to need something to break it up, so that greenery is perfect for that. And y'all can't see my face. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so again, some items that you see at the store that you may think, well, what would I ever use that for? Like, look at, who would ever thought you could just turn a hat into a floral arrangement? Not many people. But yeah, I think it's good, and I love this little DIY. So we even DIY'd that. So basically what I did for that, y'all, again, is I just took one of these cathedrals, or these little pots of gold or whatever, and I took these little Dollar Tree coins, and I added, how many did I add? I added 6 in there. So I just broke up those little skewers, and I glued them to the back, and I just shoved them in. Started high, and then I got all the way down to real low. Just covered up the space like that. How fun. So you guys, like I said, you could even add the bow there if instead of, maybe you wanted a bow and then had the tails hang down instead of that thing. You could add a little, maybe you have like a little shamrock guy. You could add like a big shamrock. You have different size shamrocks too. So basically all we used was one thing of these. We used one of these. We didn't use any of the shamrocks, but we did use 3 of the golds that were in there. We used one in a pick, but you wouldn't have even, pretty much one pick of like a filler bush. We used one pick of the Dollar Tree boxwood. We used one pick of this other little textury green stuff. And then we used one of the things, one of these packs, 6 of them to enter thing, and then a pack of this floral foam to, I had an extra one, but pretty much you'd use 2 of these blocks, one to put in the middle, to carve it out and put in the middle of your little pot, and then another one to build your design on. And then some green moss. So, and then your hat. So pretty much around $15, maybe a little less, to make this. And you can go more in depth if you wanted, or you can go less in depth if that's your type of design. But until then, you guys, I hope you guys liked this video. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you like it in the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you go check out you're already on my YouTube channel, but make sure you go check out my Facebook page over at MB Crafts and TikTok at MB Crafts by Max. And my Etsy shop is MB Crafts by Max as well. Or if you go into Facebook, you can use the shop link in there to go over there. Right now I've got 25% off Valentines, and my birthday's on Saturday, which I'm not sure when this design will come out. It might be after, but I'm gonna have a sale in there as well. You guys have a great day, great night, whatever time of your day you're watching, and thank you for crafting with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.